Okay, so welcome everybody to our live instructional webinars designed to support Memory Book Online Yearbook program. Today, we will be focusing on the functions that relate to building activity or candid pages. Specifically, we will be reviewing page bleeds and margins. We're going to go over the toolbars, design functions, templates, kind of saving our own templates, doing custom templates, and finishing it off with how to incorporate in our work here. This webinar will approximately take about 45 to an hour. I'm going to say it's going to lean towards an hour. So I'm going to go ahead and get started here. I'm just going to flip over to the next page here. So where I'm at in the program right now is you can either get to your pages either from, picking out, if you're in the page ladder, you'll just go to the pages that you're working on. But we're under the Create and New Page Designer. That's where we are right here. And so we're just kind of taking a look at our pages here. So this is just a 2-page spread that's here in our program. And when we're looking at kind of the lines that we see here on the page, and kind of things that you see here. So this inside blue line that you see here, this is your inside trim line. This is where you want to keep all important photos and text within. This outer red line here, this is our estimated trim line. This is where your page is estimated to be trimmed at, right here. And the reason we call it estimated is it could be just due to normal production things out on the floor, just how things are operating. This could be off up to 1/8 of an inch there, and that's just normal variation within production there on that estimated line. Factors that kind of play into that could be many things. Which trimmer is it on? How even down to how sharp the blades are on that trimmer operator, or all variables combined. So that's why we say it's just kind of a lot of variables there. That's why it's not precise. That's why we say it's estimated. Now this line that's going out here to this gray that's out here, this is what we call the bleed. Now, in printing, the term bleed essentially means full color that it's extending beyond the edge of your page. And this is just ensures that when your book goes to get trimmed, it's got, when that paper gets trimmed, right around this line. And I'm going to show it here with a shape here. So I'm going to take a shape out here and then put it out to the bleed here. And you kind of see anything that's out to the bleed here is kind of ghosted here. So this is the part that's estimated to be trimmed off. And why that's kind of crucial here in the printing is when this goes to off the presses, it goes to the trimmers, your page will trim, and with your color bleeding beyond the edge of the page, it just ensures that when this is there's nice full color to the edge of the page, and you're not left with any kind of unsightly kind of white edging, the paper edging that you see there. So that's all in terms of if we ever talk about does it out to the bleed or not, bleed is just beyond the edge of the page there. Some other things when we're looking at our pages that you may notice while working on here is if you're just dragging and dropping photos onto your page, um, there's areas that you cannot finally rest it. So if I take this shape here and I try to place it right here, it'll either pop it all the way out, or if I try to bring it down, it'll bring it all the way down. This little area right here in the program is where we call no man's land, and that's just because you're not able to finally rest an image in this area between the two, the margin and the trim. It'll either snap it one way or the other there. So I just wanted to make you aware of that. So that's just kind of the concept right here of, just go over, what are your boundaries, where things are trimming at, what's the bleed, just showing you the working areas of the page. Now from here, let's just I'm going to zoom in on things on the browser here, and we're just going to go over some of our little toolbars and our tabs here that we have. Just kind of real quickly kind of go over things. So at just starting under File, the first things that we have under File is Save. You also have a Save button up here. That's your quick save. So it's the same thing. So of your quick icons, got Save. If you modify any one of our templates and want to save it as your own, here's where we're going to find File, Save as Template. We're going to come back to this a little bit later. So that's kind of a few things under File that we'll show. Under Edit, this is where you have your undo and redo, and you also have little quick shortcuts for those right here on your top toolbar. We also, program, if you're familiar with keyboard shortcuts and that, we do have under Edit, we have cut, copy, paste. Keyboard shortcuts, for PC, Control X is cut, Control C copy, Control V paste. If you're on a Mac, just change Control to Command, your Command button. So then Command X, Command C, Command V. Another big handy thing that you'll find under this edit menu is the change background, and we will also come back to this, but it's the little background menu that you can pull up, and this menu is going to let us choose which page that we if you want to do solid color or select from any of the themes backgrounds that are in here. We'll go under here, and we're going to get back to this menu in a little bit, so that's why I'm just kind of going over things real quickly here. But just some other things here: flip, rotate. You can also lighten your backgrounds using this tint. And again, just to pull that up, I was under the edit menu and we can do change background. Some text options when you're working with some stuff here, some basic text. We got find and replace. We got some spelling. Under select, this is where if you want to choose everything on the page or just your images, text boxes, shape, that such thing, we got select option. Under view, this is where we're going to hide the rulers or show the rulers. On these two, I'll leave these alone. I always want them showing. Grids and guides. So let me actually come back to the page here and show you how grids and guides can be applied. So when you're working on a page, if the page itself already has grid lines here that you can have on, and I'm trying to get to a spot because down in the bottom corner of your page, there's a 2-button toggle, and the bottom button of this will allow you to turn on and off those grid lines that are there. But if you actually want to bring down some guidelines to help with stuff, guidelines can be brought onto the page by clicking and holding in the rulers that are here. So if we want to bring down a guide, so bringing down from the top ruler will bring you horizontal guides. You grab from the side ruler, that'll bring on your vertical guides here. And you can grab them and remove them and reposition them better if you need to do that. But now that you have guides on a page, how do you get rid of them? You can drag them back up into the ruler, but that seems like a lot to do right there. So if you ever need to get rid of those, if you brought those on, just need to get rid of them, just go under your view menu, and under grid and guides, this is where we can, again, that 2-button toggle, this is hide guides and that, snap to grid, hide guides, so I could just hide them. I could lock them in place, so that way when I'm moving other things on the page that I don't have to worry about moving my guides. Or if I just simply want to get rid of them, I'll just go down to clear guides, and then I can choose if I want to do them all or just the row, or maybe I just want to clear my column guides. So clear all for this one. Also under the view menu, this is where you do have your zoom in, zoom out, and fit and window. This is also an action that's up here in the top right of your toolbar with this drop down here, so you can zoom out, zoom in, or if you just want to adjust to fit to page, we have that. Below this, here we come to how you want your page to view. By default, your pages, except for the first and last page, those will always show a single page. Unless you tell it otherwise, from there on, page 2 and 3, all your spreads are going to be together. So right now, this is facing pages. If you're someone that does like to work on just one page at a time, you can come down and hit single page. Looks like I need to save my changes first. So if you've ever done any work on a page and before you go to somewhere else, it will ask you if you want to save or not. Or if you're doing something changing your page view like I did. So here's just back to single page. On instances where you may have to split this or change the page view would be if you have, let's say that you have a student that's assigned or a staff person that's assigned to the left and another staff or student person that's assigned to the right. Well, they both can't work on the same spread at the same time. So in that case, what you would have, so you wouldn't have, save errors between the two. That's where you would have both of them go to view and do single page. And that way, when one person's working on the left here, it's not going to affect or interfere with anyone that's working on the other page of that. So I just wanted to put that out there for those that do have yearbook staffs. And if you have multiple kids working at the same time, having them set to single page, unless they're working on the same spread. If they're working on the spread, just leave them with the spread. But if you got someone different on the left and right, have them both change to single page. And this should alleviate any save errors there between the two. Okay, so file, edit, view, and let's just lastly hit up arrange here. Under arrange, this is where you're going to see lock and unlock. So if I select something, we'll have lock and unlock. But this is also a padlock icon up here in the toolbar to lock. So we can either go under arrange, or we can just simply just use the padlock that's here. That'll lock something in place. So that's locked on the page there. I'm going to unlock it. Group and ungroup. So if you need to group certain, if you made like your own heading style or something like that, we can select a couple items, and under arrange, we can go to group. We can also group these two items if we select them, and we go to our quick options here. Here's group right here in our. Now I'm going to zoom in on this because I'm not sure how easy it is to see. But when something is grouped on the page, when you go to select it, you'll notice it has these little dashed lines here. So if you ever have certain ones of our templates that are in the program called click and go templates, these will come onto the page grouped as well. And just to show you, let me click and go. And let me just pick up headline. I'll just pick a simple headline one here and bring it on. So I just brought one of our click and go templates over to the page. Maybe I'll actually do an infographic one here. These are kind of neat that you can bring in. They're little templates here, but they come on grouped. But before you can work on any little piece of them, you have to go up, and you can either go to arrange and then hit ungroup, or with it selected, you can come to your top toolbar and group here. And then once it's ungrouped, then you're able to work with the individual pieces of it. So I just wanted to show grouping there real quick and ungrouping. All right, what else do we have under here? Okay, so then we have some of our alignment options that we have in the program. Bring the zoom back here. All right, so if you ever need to work with alignment of certain options in the program, so let's say if we want to align certain things horizontally and vertically, we do have some alignment tools here. So if you hold down, let's say I want to take this row of 4 circle shapes here, and I want to align them at their tops here, or maybe in their middle. So I'm going to hold down my shift key on my keyboard. I'm going to highlight those, and I can align horizontally. Actually, I don't want to do align horizontally, because align horizontally is going to be for your columns, where align vertically is going to be for your rows. So in this case, I actually do want to align the middles, and also align vertically middle. Now I can use this arrange menu here. Arrange is also, if I select these again, that's those same arrangement tools are going to be from this drop down that's right over here. So there's kind of a quick arrange drop down. And we have those options that are down here. So align left, center, and right are going to be for our column. Top, middle, bottom are going to be for rows. So I'm going to go ahead and hit align middle here. And I just made them all even through the middle. Now I'm going to do here. So actually I'm going to align these all to this one right here. And just to show something different. So I could go here and I could do align left, or I could go under here to align horizontally and do left is there as well. And that just pulls everything left. Now, one thing, while we do have alignment, I will sadly let you know that we do not have distribution. So on distribution, that may be where more you'll kind of have to kind of use the grid lines here to get certain stuff, just spacing between those two. But I did want to go ahead and show you alignment, just the way if you need to straighten up a row of anything, maybe on a class page, something like that, that would kind of help showing those tools. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and save this. And I'm now going to clear everything off. And let's just kind of go through some of the other stuff that we have on actually just kind of starting a page here. So go over to the basic tools. We've gone through that. Now let's just kind of work down the tabs that we're doing here. Much like I'm going to start with the Pages tab, much like the page ladder. This is just while you're in the designer, if you need to quickly jump around to another page to work on, or if you're going through stuff, this is the Pages tab is how you're going to access those other pages that are there. Next it comes to building a page. So there are a couple different ways that you can start a page off. So you can use a pre-made template, and that is, just from the Designs tab. I'm going to go from the drop down. I'm going to go under Page Surfer. Under Page Surfer is where we're going to find all of our full page templates, candid templates. There's six categories under Page Surfer. Candids, clubs and organizations, gallery, openings, sports, student life. All six of these have many different designs in them that you can look through to utilize on your pages. Now, if you're looking for just the most most simplistic candid pages within here, we're going to look under candids. Under candids, these have more of the basic collage or candid pages. They're mostly photo boxes. The text, they have very little text in them. Some may just have a headline as the text that's there. So we can start, if you want to build on any one of those, just take a template and you're just going to apply it by dragging and dropping it to the page. You're going to get this little retain existing content message. And it says, do you want to retain existing content in the new template? In this case, it doesn't matter. We don't have anything on the page. But if you hit yes, let's say if we did have a template on the page that already had like a background in it, here's where we might hit yes to where we keep that background in. But if we hit no, it completely overwrites what's on the page with what we're bringing in. But if it's a blank page, it really doesn't matter which one you click here. So I'm going to just go hit no. So now we've got a template on the page here that's got, so many photo boxes that are here. Photo boxes for us to drag our images into. So what I can do here is to bring images to our page. If you've uploaded, have those in your categories under activity there. So I'm going to go to images. And under the images tab is where you're going to be able to access your portraits. So if you need to bring on just like maybe a teacher picture on for a certain page, or maybe it's a teacher's letter or something like that. That's how you can access theirs. If we go under activity, this is generally where it's best to kind of upload all your canned activity images here. So I'm just going to pull up my Canvas folder that I have. Um, so building a page, you are able just to drag and drop images to a page like so and size them to your liking. Kind of move them around, position them, have them here on the page. We see a lot of this kind of building style, like on a lot of, maybe you've got a lot of candids left that you're not sure what to do with. So in this case, you can then bring those over, drag and drop them onto the page and then, size them however you like there. Or if you use a template, you're just dragging and dropping over to these spots. So as I'm bringing this image over, so in this case, you're going to see your boxes do one or two things. They're either going to highlight green or they're going to kind of go more to a reddish here. So these are just indicators letting you know that this image is large enough to fill this spot. So when I let go of this image, it's going to fill that frame that's there. So green is good. If you're using a template, you always want to hit green. Let me bring the same one back over, but if you see red, that's letting you know that something may, that image itself is not large enough to go into that spot. So one thing being that this is more landscape, we know by up here that this box and this box are the same width. So it's not, it's the issue with the width is not, the issue isn't with the width, it's with the height. So this photo just didn't have the height to meet and fill this box. Now, if you bring something over, if you still let go, well, it didn't place it in this box. If you let go, the image will still place on the page. It just kind of goes over top of the other stuff in its own brand new photo box that's there. So just wanted to point that out. Now, what happens if you have like a spot in a template that's like way too big, or maybe you want to, maybe it's like, well, maybe I want to fit two pictures into this spot here. Well, you can bring this down. There's no part of our template that is anything that's set in stone. So, I mean, I could bring this down and, maybe I want to do something cool, like either bring another, I can copy another box here. So I can select that box. Now I can do edit copy, edit paste, and a new box will pop up right on top of there. And then I can just kind of move that into position where I want that. So that's one way that you can make a custom template, is just, you can alter the spots that are here and kind of make room for that. All right, so we've got our template, and on this one, let's see. I want to try to find a different template here just to kind of show how evolved some of these can be. So different headlines, different boxes that are here, all different things that you can work with. Okay. And okay, so I'm going to bring this one on here. So kind of back onto our other page, pre-made templates have to where, you can drag and drop in, you may have headings in that. Building your own page, if you're just going to build up your own. If you want to, like I said, from the images tab, you can drag and drop your images over to build the page. Let's say you want to add like a text heading, a simple text heading there. We'll just go to our text tab. And now what we see of these boxes right here, these are called styles. And with these styles, basically they're just pre-formatted text boxes. So if I grab headline and bring it over Um, you can see it just adds a text box to the page that's starting at 24 point foundation sands. Bring a different headline over, and this one is starts at it's Ennis Bold. It's 18 point there. So you bring over a style onto the page. I'm just going to delete that one. Now, like I said, the style that you bring over is just the starter, because once it's on the page, you can then change it to any other font that is in your collection. You can change the size. And here you'll notice when I went to change the size of that heading, it threw a big red X through my text box. If you ever see this big red X on your text box, that's just letting you know that not all of the text inside is showing. You can either decrease the size of the font or just kind of adjust the box until you get all of it showing there. All right, so I got a heading here. I've got some photos. Oh, excuse me. What else can I bring here? I'm just trying to fill it in here because it's a lot of, if you got a template in, it's good to bringing stuff on. Let me do a couple things with this, show you different things you can kind of do with your photos. And find another. Okay, so I'll just fill that in, and let me find some other photos to drop in here. Okay, so just kind of some other things that now that we have, we've placed some templates on our page. What are some other kind of things that we can do here? So heading, that is actually one thing I'm going to do. I'm actually going to take some of these back out so I could show you one thing real quick. And then I could plug those back in. Okay, so one thing I wanted to show real quick, just on if you were wondering how you could make your own custom template. Let's say that I want to change some stuff up on this. Maybe I'm going to make another spot that's down here. Maybe I want to change up my headline style. So I'm going to take this out. And you know what? I'm going to actually take this line out. Actually, I want to keep the line in, but maybe I want to bring the line down to this bottom section that's here. I'm going to do that and adjust my line. Now, I don't want those three there, so I'm going to move them off the line about one grid there. Take this heading out. So I'm going to bring in a different heading here. Let's see. So I'm going to use my alignment tools again here real quick. I'm just going to do align top. And this is kind of where I was talking, where here's where we might have to use the grid lines a little bit. That's probably going to be not the best I can get that for right now. All right. Oop, I need a text box here. Now I want to change this away from orange. So this is just a shape here that is no fill, and it has a stroke color on it. So with it selected, let's just say I want to go up and do a little formatting. So I'm going to change I'm going to make sure that I have shape stroke selected because that's the outside. And let's see, I'm going to make this, what's something? Yeah, I'll just leave it gold. I'll do old gold here. Okay, now I want to find like a different heading here. So I could go to back to designs. Now, full page templates and that are under page surfer, but if you want little snippets or little groupings, that's where we're going under click and go. In this case, I'm going to look under headline here. And there's just different little headline grouping styles that are here that you could use on that page. So in case, I'm going to bring this over. Yeah, I kind of like that. That's kind of okay. Here's one thing I will do though. So I like this yellow, so I'm going to format this top to be kind of in those same yellows. So I'll need to ungroup this and do a little, I'm going to hold down my select key, or not select, yeah, my shift key. That way I can get those two darker lines that are there. So I got those yellow. And let's see. So I'm going to select this text box up here and just kind of show you some stuff here. All right. So this box is selected. Now, when I go to the color drop down, you notice the color drop down showing white. So there's at the top of your color box here, and when we're looking at a text box, so you've got four options on a text box. You've got the text fill, so it's currently white, so that's what this color is in here. The text stroke, actually right now, it's none. There's nothing. There's no stroke. There's the, and that's the stroke around the text here. There's no shape stroke. That'd be the stroke around the whole box. But if I click on shape fill, that's where we have this green color here, this NV Lotus. So I'm going to go back down to this color palette and get the accenting color there. Again, I'm going to make sure shape fill is selected because that's what we're changing. And yeah, go back with the butterscotch there. And let's bring this down just a hair. Okay, so now we kind of got white text on a yellow, which makes that hard to read. So I'm going to go back to my box, go to my drop down. I'm going to go to text fill, change it to black there. Okay. So there we go. We've done a little bit of formatting here. We did a shape stroke here. We changed our text boxes, the formatting here. Now one more thing. Let's go back and do, I'm actually going to do a select, I'm going to hold down my shift key, and I'm really not feeling these just overall square boxes here. So there's a few things we can do. So once I have those all selected, let's say that maybe I just want to add rounded corners to these boxes. Well, I'm going to go under Format and Effects. That's the little magic wand icon in the top toolbar here. And the first thing we have here is rounded corner. So the higher the number, the more rounded those will be. And just put that to a 12 point round. That's something a little nice there. Now, another thing that you can do, if you didn't want to do rounded corners, some other things that you could do there, you could either do them all, you could do them individually. I'll just select the one here. But if you go under Edit, when you have a photo box or a shape selected, when you go under Edit, you'll get an added option here that's Change Shape. And this is where if I wanted to, maybe I want to make that a hexagon or circle, which is also oval. That'll do that. But I'm going to go back to here. But I just wanted to show that you weren't stuck with that square design. You could round things up. You could change any of that there. Actually, I'm going to bring this top section, these pieces up just a little more. Space my page out here. Okay, so I think I like this. This is just me taking one of our templates and just changing out the heading, doing a little bit different down here. And so when you do something like this, you know, then let's say you want to take it to another page. This is kind of the, maybe you've got a class page, and maybe this is the opposite page you want to do to your class page that has that class's candids. So if you want to use that more in one spot, instead of recreating this time after time, the easiest thing to do is once you get something the way you like, you want to use it other places, just go to File and do Save as Template. So again, that's just File, Save as Template, and here's where you get a little prompt. So we can enter the name for our template. Let's say class candid page. And here you can either select if it's the left, the right side, or both. In this example, I built this on page 13, so this is my right page, and I'm gonna hit save. All right, so I've got my page here, and let's just say like if I was then wanting to apply that somewhere else, save my changes, come to another set of pages that I've done before. I'm just going to quickly take that off here. All right, so now that we're on that next set of pages, any template that you saved, if you go under the Designs tab and go to the drop down, any template or click and go that you've saved will be under Custom. So I'll go under Custom, and I'm going to go to My Templates and find the one that did, here we go, Class Candid Page. That's the one that we just did. And to apply it, you're just going to drag and drop it over, and nothing on here, so I'm going to hit no. And here's our template that we have here. So definitely that's, we really, if you get in here, if you find something that's very close to what, maybe we have templates that, they're close to what you want, but not quite there. That's why it's really kind of neat that you're able to edit them and modify them, and then, save it as your own. That way, you've got a style that you've liked, you're able to take it to your other pages and to use there. I'm going to save that. So I'm going to go back to our main page here. Oop, and let's see. Let's put those pictures back into it because there were a few things I wanted to show here. Whoop. Oh. I didn't see what his photo. It was just to let me know that this photo is already in the book. So yeah, I do want to actually, in this case, use it again here. Where is, there we go. Okay. And so one thing, once we get some photos in here, is just kind of showing, once you get your photos dropped, sometimes, the positioning within the box may not be exactly how you kind of want that to be. Um, so right here, I've dropped these photos in, and something I was just going to show here real quick is just how to do a little bit of cropping and adjustment of those photos in the box here. Um, so I'm going to start with this one because I think this little guy right here, I think more of his head needs to be shown there. Bring him down in there. So to crop any photos that are on the page, two ways to activate the crop. One is, the first one is, you could just select it once, and then in your top toolbar, you'll hit the little crop symbol that's up here, and then you'll go into crop mode. So you see everything kind of dim out around the photo, and you're working with, here's what's in the frame, here's the ghosted part of the photo that you're not seeing. Another way to activate that crop, just a quicker way, is just to double click in the middle of the photo. So just quick double click, and we're back to here now. Now, once you're activated in crop mode, if you need to adjust what's in the view here of the frame, you can just click and hold and drag that down. So that's one way to adjust it there. That's how you'll adjust the photo that's in there. Now let's say that let's say that just because he's looking off, he's not really part of the photo. Let's say that we wanted to actually crop the little guy out. No, I know that sounds bad, but just to show in this example how we would do that. So if you need to crop out a space in a photo that didn't need to be there or make it larger within the frame, you're going to grab the little yellow handles and you're actually going to pull out here. So then you can kind of pull those out. And there you kind of have your crop. But not today. We're going to bring him back in here. We're going to bring him back. We're going to bring him down. That way he's all showing there. So double click here. We can adjust. But just kind of show you how you can do some cropping there with that. Okay. Other formatting that you can do here on the page. So if you select your images here, I'm just going to select one here. With the selected, this first kind of drop down that you see here, there's stroke size. So we can put simple little borders on our images. So it's a kind of a 2-point stroke that's there. You can change, if you go under the color drop down, you can change the stroke color of those images. And let's say that maybe we might want to add a little drop shadow. Maybe give these a little bit of lift up to the page there. So I'm going to select both of these two again here. I'm going to go back to Format and Effects. And down at the bottom here, I have Drop Shadow. So I'm going to give it just, I'll just do black as the color. Gives a little bit of depth there. Now with your drop shadow that is on here, you can then kind of play with distance of that. What angle, the lighting angle, what's the degree? The opacity, kind of how solid is that? And if you want to blur it out just a little more. Sometimes you go with some of these, you can actually give them a real sharp so no opacity, you can get a real sharp drop shadow on those. I'm just looking for just a little bit of there you go, just a little bit of rise there. So just some different formatting that you can do. All right, bring this down. So let's say that you've got your photos on, you've got everything that you want in place, you got your text in, and then what's the best way to finish this off is with a background. So I'm going to go again. Here's where we're coming back to edit, and we're going to do change background. You can also just right click. If you right click on the page to bring up right click, you can also find change background. Bring up our little background menu that you can move all over the place. So on this, if you're looking to do just a solid background, we can come under background color, come down, we can select, let me find something that kind of complements it. Yeah. Okay, well, that kind of works for now, but it's just to show you we could use that to select a solid color for our page. A whole bunch of different colors that are in there. Now, if you now a couple other ways to do like just backgrounds that have design in them, or the clip art backgrounds. So I'm going to take a break from the background menu just a second to come over to the art tab. So if you go to the art tab and you come down to background, this houses all the kind of generic backgrounds that are already, come with the program, that are already in here. There are tons that are in here. There's tons and tons. But if you see anything within this group of backgrounds that you like, what you'll do here is with these, you just drag and drop over to the page. You say it applies there. So all different kind of ones that are in, you just drag and drop them in to apply them in. Now, if you bring one of these designs over, and let's say like the coloring is just really dark and it kind of overpowers the page, this is where you're going to use the change background tool to kind of lighten that background up a little bit. And it'll pull the focus back to the foreground here. So that's just the kind of the generic backgrounds that are in here. And definitely a lot of these are full color. So if you do bring some on, um, and they're kind of busy like this and that, or if you want to bring the focus back here, just remember there's a little tent slider. Okay, and all right, now if you chose one of our, let's say if you're looking for backgrounds that go with some of our covers, so let's say that you went with one of our standard covers, most of those do have backgrounds and theme art or clip art that go with them here in the program. But there's a little bit different way to get to those than going through the art tab. Um, so if those type of backgrounds, those backgrounds are in here, you'll actually go under this choose image. And from the drop down, what you'll need to do is when you get under background, so all backgrounds is where all these over here, that came with the program or in the program, they're in here. If you go back under the drop down, you're going to click the arrow next to clip art. So when you click the arrow, that opens up and you see 4 other sections that are here. You'll actually want to go under by cover, and as we're going through, so the name of the cover, we'll have a folder here that corresponds with that cover. So if you went with, I'm just going to pick argon. So if we went with argon, I'm going to select this, and I can see the different pieces of clip art that go with argon. So here's some of the backgrounds that are here. I'll select that yellow one, and I'll hit select, and then it just applies that one to my page. So again, that if you're looking for the theme art, that's under, pull up choose image, and from the drop down that comes up in this window, just make sure to go under clip art and then by cover, and tons and tons here. Now, just because now if you did choose one kind of cover style, you're not limited to just using that theme. So I mean, if you've picked one theme, you're more than welcome. I mean, feel free, check out the other categories that are there. There is just lots and lots of interesting stuff, and you never know. If you look into another theme, it may have pieces or um, it may have backgrounds that may lend themselves to the theme or to the look that you're going for your book. So definitely, if you have some time, definitely check out the different theme art that's here. Um, there's all sorts of different backgrounds in there. And again, even with these, some may come on full color if you just need to kind of tint them a little bit. And tinting a background sometimes really makes a difference to a page here, just on what is, full color, some stuff kind of hard to see, but if you bring it back just a little bit, it brings the focus back to the stuff that's up at front, which is good. Okay, so I've gone through and kind of look at a time what we've gone through. So just drag and drop stuff on, or you could use pre-made template. We've gone over how to save a custom template. We've gone over formatting on the page. We've gone and we just kind of wrapped up on backgrounds. Um, the last thing I'll kind of cover before, I'm going to go ahead and hit save here. The last thing I'll kind of go over with you all before I open this up to you guys. Um, last thing I'll do is the history tab. Now this history tab over here is just a tab that only advisors can see. Now, ideally, as you're working along your page, if you are, I recommend after you do a few different things to go up and hit save. That's just because the program keeps track of each and every saved change in the program. Um, so if you're building a page, what I normally suggest is when you've got a page or you got your template on, go ahead and fill in your photos and get the core content in first. And then start working on background and formatting. Um, and that's just because if you ever get to a point where you're like, well, I kind of want to change up the formatting. I mean, I've got my photos, but I just kind of want to change up the formatting a little bit. What you could is if you were saving your changes along the way, you could come back to the history tab and go back to that point in time. So like right here, I'm on page 13 and I'm on the history tab, and I'm going to go back to what I did just before I did all of this. So I see that restore point, and I'm just going to drag and drop it over to the page. And this is my page before I started doing any of that extra work to it. And from here, I can pick back. Ideally, on this one, I would have liked to have the photos into it, and that way I can then just change up my heading and my little box down here. But definitely, this is kind of, if you're working on stuff and maybe you do want to go back to a previous point in time, just check out the history tab, and I'll even go back to set this back up to the way it was when we first started. So I'm even going to go back to page 12 and go all the way to here. So definitely, keep track of that. I'm going to put that back because that wasn't in there. Now it is. Okay. All right. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to go ahead and usually what we like to do at the end of these, we're kind of open it up at the end for a little bit of Q&A. So I'm going to go ahead and do the ending spiel on this, and then I will kind of stop the recording and then open this up for any questions that you all may have. So definitely, definitely thank you. Appreciate everyone that was able to join me this afternoon. Hopefully these demonstrations of the functions related to creation of activity pages may help when it comes time to build your yearbook. Using the templates already in the program and building your own templates should save you some time and give your book continuity. So um, feel free to join us in a couple of weeks as we go over it's called the final stages, and that's where we show you how to complete and review and then submit your pages for printing. And so we'll do doing that in a couple of weeks. So again, thank you everybody. And I'm now going to turn this over to the Q&A.